Alright, welcome all to MTG Deck Tech. My name is Marcel, and today we're gonna be opening some boosters of Throne of Eldraine. I hope my audio is gonna be better this time than last time, but yeah, we'll see about that. And my chair is obviously still, or not obviously, but it is still broken. I got delivered a new chair, and that was just as broken as this one. I hope I'm gonna get another chair that's just not gonna randomly fall over because it misses another leg. So yeah, I hope that's gonna happen soon. So what I'm gonna do is go through these boosters of Throne of Eldraine. I did the pre-order and got 50 boosters of that, and then I just pumped all my gold into the next boosters and. Yeah, for some reason it got to 69 boosters, which made my 16-year-old self inside of me very happy. I'm gonna probably just talk about the rares, because when you open 69 boosters, you're gonna have commons and uncommons already, pretty much all of them. And I also got some wild cards left, so yeah, we're gonna have enough common and uncommon in the set. So let's just go. And we'll see what we get. Already got a questing beast of my renewal rewards, which was very nice. Let's see what we have here. Folio of Fancies. Okay, this is some card draw shenanigans. Might be good. Might be good. Also in mill decks, I think mill will be a decent strategy. I will certainly try to create some mill decks, so Folio of Fancies might be pretty nice in that. Just to mill your opponent. So let's see. Whitebound Preserver will be a nice card in Simic Flash, because the Simic deck only plays non-human creatures, and you will be able to put many +1/+1 counters on this card, so it will be a staple for this deck. I may be doing some deck tech on Simic Flash, I'm not sure yet, I'm not that high on it anymore, but we will see about that. Stormist Crusader, yeah, it's just okay, it's a good knight, maybe in the Knight Tribal deck, which will be very nice, we can make use of it. So I'm not sure what happens if I press open 10, hopefully it just gives me the rare cards. That looks like only the rare cards. That's nice. Okay, so Castle Logwain. It's one of these nice rare lands, which will be very good to have another way to get card advantage by drawing a card in this case, or making creatures bigger in this case. So this will be a very good addition, and now I clicked it away. Okay, I shouldn't click anymore, so I have to watch out for that in the next 10 cards. So Midnight Clock can be nice to draw, but I don't think it's very good because it's very slow. So I'm not sure if I will play that. Happily Ever After is a janky win condition, and I don't think I'll play that either. Maybe in some deck that relies on life gain, but as your opponent also gains life, this is probably not the best card in the format. Audless Merriment, on the other hand, will be very nice. I will be building some kind of Boros aggro deck, and this card is just amazing at making a creature token each turn. It isn't legendary, so you can put a few of them out if your opponent is still alive then, but of course it does cost 4 mana, so we'll have to work around that somehow if we have a Boros aggro deck. Charming Prince is also a card that gives you many options. You can either scry, gain free life, or do like a Teferi's Time Twist on one of your creatures, and I just think it's a very nice card. 2 for 2 with these effects. I'll certainly bring it into some decks, maybe even the Boros aggro deck, but it's maybe too slow for that. We'll have to see about it. This is one of those free white mana or free colored mana creatures, probably the worst of them. Just gaining life it's okay, but it's nothing to be too excited about to do a white deck around. Stormfist Crusader, we had that already. Emry, Lurker of the Log, is good if you have some kind of artifact mill. So artifact reanimator might be a thing. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna play it. I'm not that high on artifacts, but we'll see if it is any good. So what is this? This is another knight payoff. You can reveal another knight. It's almost like the goblin we had in the last set that brings out more goblins, and this is a knight that brings out more knights. Nice to have. If I have a knight deck with white mana, I will certainly put that one in. Bone Crusher Giants. So damage can't be prevented this turn is a nice counter against things like Root Snare, but it might be a bit too specific, but it could fit into some red aggro strategy. Although I think most red aggro decks will be Cavalcade of Calamity based, and 4/3 of course doesn't trigger that card. So we'll see about that. Let's see the next 10. Piper of the Swarm. Yeah, this is the one that makes reds and also can sacrifice reds to gain you control of some creature. I think I'm gonna do some shenanigans with that. I already plan on doing some kind of steal your stuff deck. Not sure if I'm gonna make it with black in it or if I'm just gonna make it Simic, but I like stealing my opponent's cards, so I will definitely have some deck where I'll try to build around Piper of the Swarm. Ironcrag Pyromancer is one of those cards where you draw the second card, it does something. In this case, it deals 3 damage. It's only 0/4, so I'm not sure it's the best of these, but it's still nice if you have a way to draw 2 cards each turn. I might be making some kind of Is It a Phoenix deck around card draw, so we will have to see if that works out. Is any good? We'll have to see when we play it. Wishcock Talisman. It's a wish card. You can remove the wish card. It's the first time I actually see this card. You can search your library for a card, yeah. But the thing is, your opponent can also do it the next turn. So unless you have some kind of artifact removal, then it might be okay, but you still have to pay a lot of mana to get rid of this artifact. So I'm not so sure about that one. Of course, you can do it one more time than your opponent, and if you are in a control type matchup, you will profit more. But then again, if your opponent plays an aggro deck, they're just not gonna give that one back to you. So just gonna be a 1. Oh, NS. I saw the red the red card in there, which is a very nice card. The goblin one. I think I'm just gonna look at my rares in the editor, and that will be preventing me from clicking this thing all the way. So I was talking about Topran, but we're gonna see in the card collection. It's much easier. Gilded Goose will also be very nice to do some mana fixing. Once Upon a Time will be nice in some decks, because you can cast it for 0, which is always very, very, very nice. Let's see what else we got here. Bay of Wishes will be nice in control decks. You can just get a card. It's almost like Mastermind's Acquisition with a creature attached to it, which is very, very strong. Gorgeous Spyglass, okay. I have to see that one in the collection. I'm not so sure what it does yet. Same here. So I'm just gonna open that last one and look at all the rares. Fervent Champion. This will be a nice card in the Cavalcade deck. But the +1, of course, is anti-synergy with the Cavalcade deck. Except if it triggers after... I think it triggers after the Cavalcade, so it might be alright. But First Strike and Haste for 1/1 with 1 mana is always nice to have. Just for that. And there's so many decks here. Collection. So the new decks all came in. Let's see. So Throne of Eldraine. So we're gonna have the cards we got as a reward also. So here we have a giant killer that can destroy very big creatures, which is nice. As a sideboard card, possibly in the main deck. Not so sure about that yet. I think it's a bit too specific, but it can tap target creature, so it might see some play even in the main deck. Yeah, Charming Prince we already talked about, and I already got 4 of for some reason, which is a nice card. I can have 4 of, I can see myself having 4 of them in the deck. Worthy Knight. Whenever you cast a Knight spell, you create a token. Of course, Knight deck, Knight payoff was gonna be a nice deck. Claim Contender we already discussed. Happily Ever After also. Linden also. Yes. Yes. Ventress Gargoyle. Can't attack. Oh yeah, this is one of those mill payoffs. So if your opponent has a lot of cards in graveyard, it can attack. If you have a lot of cards in hand, it can block. I think it's a bit too specific. I may be putting it in some kind of mill deck, but I'm not sure about that. It might be an aggressive mill deck with Sir Conrad in it. Might be a nice fit for Ventress Gargoyle. Actually, could be pretty nice. So just to have the opportunity to mill your opponent a bunch and then get a lot of triggers for Sir Godwin out of it. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this deck pans out. Of course, I'm gonna give you all the news deck tech as soon as I stop brewing or saw something I liked. And yeah, we'll see. This we already had. Mirror Maid can enter the battlefield as a copy of an artifact or enchantment. I'm not that high on artifacts and enchantments, but I might have to be in this set, so let's see about that. Stolen by the Fae. Returns a creature and also makes some creatures, which is very nice. It is sorcery speed, so it won't fit that well into a Simic Flash deck, but I can see it in some kind of ramp deck maybe. So Simic Ramp or something. We'll have to see. It's hard to evaluate if you haven't played this one. Castle we had. Blacklane's Paragon. Target knight gains Death Touch and Lifelink, so it's again knight synergy. We have so many knights here in this set. And Piper we had already discussed. This also. And yeah, Ayara is about entering the battlefield of black creatures where you can drain your opponent, which is nice, and you also can sacrifice a creature to draw a card. So I'm thinking about maybe some kind of black token deck with that. It could be something, but we'll have to see if it's any good. I'm not sure about it. I think other black decks will be much better. For example, the mono black aggro, which I already discussed in the last video, where I would put the Oathsworn Knight in. This is a creature you'll have to kill a bunch of times to actually kill it, at least with the red spells or combat. Otherwise, you can just, of course, murder it or something, but yeah, it will be hard to get rid of for red decks, for example, or creature-based decks. Witch's Vengeance, creature type of your choice gets -3/-3. Could be a nice sweeper. I would only put that in a sideboard. Yeah, this is really just a sideboard card because you never know if your opponent has one creature type they focus on, for example, the knights. Maybe it's a one-off in the main deck if knights are getting really out of hand, but I don't see it. It's just too... yeah, it's just too specific of a card. Cauldron of Eternity. Costs 2 less to cast for each creature in your graveyard, so it's a self-mill payoff. And when your creature dies, it gets on the bottom of the library, but you can return creatures every turn. And this could be very, very strong in Reanimator decks. You do have to pay the life, you do have to pay some mana, and you can't do it infinitely. It will be better when you already have a lot of creature cards in the graveyard. But cards you mill after that will also get in the graveyard, and not because they don't die, they're just discarded. So I can see this being a very good card in Reanimator decks that just runs away with the game. Very strong artifact. Castle Embereth we already discussed. Fervent also. Yes, we discussed that. Fires of Invention, you can cast spells only during your turn, and you cannot cast more than 2 spells each turn. Okay, so this is one where you can do some mana things, where you can basically play 2 big spells that cost all your mana without paying their mana cost, but you can only play the 2 spells. So this might see some play in big red decks. I'm not so high about it. Of course, it's nice having the way to play 3 spells, but you will have to get to 4 mana, and you will also need to play many high mana cost spells in your deck to make this work. So your opponent might just kill you before you get to 4 mana, or you might just draw cards that have 2 mana or 3 mana, and that doesn't really help you at all. So I'll have to see how that one works out. I can see it being good, but I can also see it being overrated. Ironclad Fleet, of course, is the red ramp. Mono red ramp was already a thing. I played a few games with some big red Chandra decks that had the elementals that could ramp and things like that. So that could help this kind of deck. So, but you can also only cast 1 more spell this turn, and yeah, this is the downside of this. Okay, Torban. If a red, so this is basically what was it called? The Ritual of Keld, or the Flame of Keld was it called? It was called, which was very nice in the Cavalcade deck. And if you have that on the field, everything does 2 more damage. So I will definitely build some Cavalcade deck around this card, because it is so powerful. If every Cavalcade trigger you have deals another 2 damage, you can kill your opponent so fast. Of course, it is 4 mana, it's a lot for this kind of deck, but I think it's definitely worth it, and I will definitely try it. Embercleave could also be something for the Cavalcade deck. I would only probably just play 1 or 2 of, because it is, if you don't have enough creatures, it is a very expensive card, but if you have 4 creatures, you can just equip that for 2 mana and gain +1/+1 and double strike. As it is flash, you can also cast it after your Cavalcade trigger, and yeah, this is just a nice equipment card for these decks. I'm pretty sure Cavalcade will be nice if it doesn't get blown away by Simic Flash. I'm pretty unsure about that. Simic Flash could counter it because it has so many nice counter spells, but I think Mono Red Cavalcade will definitely be a competitive deck. Yeah, and Sundering Stroke is the payoff if you cast the Ironcrag Feat, because it just costs 7 mana and does 7 damage to some 1, 2, or 3 permanents. And if you cast at least with 7 red mana, you will have the opportunity to deal 7 damage to 3 things, which is very, very powerful. Gilded Goose. It can create as food tokens and also sacrifice food for any color. So this is basically the thing that will replace the Llanowar elves that are, of course, rotating as a 1 mana dork. It is a bit worse because you have to sacrifice the food tokens, but you can also use it in the late game to just fix your mana base. For example, I'm playing a lot of Simic Mass Manipulation, and you only need the blue mana. You will have, most of the time you will have enough green mana, but you will need some blue mana, and this could help with that as well. And food may be a nice mechanic at its own. I'll have to see about that. Maybe I need an Oko for that and something like that. Once Upon a Time is a free spell. You don't have to talk more about it. It's a free way to get card advantage. And even if it's not free, it's a 2-mana thing that makes you look at 5 cards in your library. So I'll definitely play that in creature-heavy decks because it only can find creatures. Yeah, Whitebone Preserver we already talked about. Jorvo, Lord of Garenbrick, is one of those mono-green things. And yeah, you can make it bigger if you play a big creature, so it's a mono-green Stompy payoff, which can be very nice. I think mono-green can be a thing in this set. Of course, because of the Questing Beast. Questing Beast is just amazing card where just WotC just vomited every single ability you could have onto one card. It has Vigilance, it has Death Touch, it has Haste, it is a 4/4 for 4, it can't be blocked by small creatures, it can not be, combat damage cannot be prevented as long as it's on the field, and it also can destroy Planeswalkers while attacking your opponent. So let's see if your opponent, for example, has a Cavalcade deck, which I think many people will have. So if your opponent only has 1 power creatures on the battlefield, they cannot block the Questing Beast. Some of the times they will also have a Chandra to make tokens, a 3-mana Chandra, and this Chandra only has 4 loyalty. So what you can do is you pay 4 mana, play your Questing Beast. It has haste, your opponent cannot do anything about it, it can just attack your opponent's face and destroy their Chandra. This is an amazing card. I think it's, yeah, some of the people talk about how it's overrated. Might be, because it looks just so amazing, but I think it's gonna play amazing as well, because it just has so many things it can do. It has Death Touch to kill bigger creatures if you need to. It's just great. It's just, you cannot say anything against it. I think it's a very nice card. Might not be the best card ever, of course. We'll have to see how it plays out, but damn, it is very good. Return of the Wild Speaker. You can draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures, so you can draw very many cards if you have mono green, for example, mono green Stompy, and you have a big Yorvo, for example. This can get out of hand very quickly, I think. And you can also push your non-human creatures to be even stronger. So yeah, I might be building mono green pretty soon, although I don't really enjoy playing green. Feasting Troll King is one of those big creatures again. Yeah, you can create food, which is very nice for the Gilded Goose. And you can sacrifice foods to get it from the graveyard to the battlefield, which is nice. It just has Vigilance and Trample to go with it, and yeah, this is just a nice card. I really didn't have it on my watch until now, but it looks very nice. Doom Foretold. So a player sacrifice at every player sacrifice at their upkeep a non-land, non-token permanent. If they can't, they discard a card and lose 2 lives. And you draw a card and gain 2 lives. So, and you also create a token. So, okay, if you have a way to get rid of your opponent's permanents, you will do a lot of damage. I think I can see that in the Aspral control deck or some kind of other control. This looks very nice. Lock Me Serpent, yes, a very big creature that you can make unblockable. Nothing more to say about it. 7/7 for 6 with Flash and these amazing upsides. It's gonna be a nice card for Dimir as a finisher. We already talked about that one. Garruk, very powerful planeswalker that can create tokens, 2 tokens every turn. With the wolf, we can make a wolf deck out of that. It's very possible. You can destroy creatures. You can get emblems with your creatures get trample and +3/+3 after just 1 creature of these tokens dying. So yeah, this is a very nice card. I think it's gonna be very good to play with and to build around. Escape to the Wilds. Top 5 of your cards of your library will be exiled, and you may play them in until the end of the next turn. So it's really a big type of light up the stage, and you can also play an additional land. So maybe some kind of ramp deck can play that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it with the red, but I see that it might be possible to do a red-green ramp deck. Outlaws Merriment we talked about. Fabled Passage is just a nice card where you can search for your basic lands, which will help a lot with mana. And Sorcerer's Spyglass, last but not least, will be looking at your opponent's hand. You can choose a card name, and those activated abilities cannot be activated unless they're mana abilities. Very nice sideboard card to get rid of some of your opponent's things that can really hurt you. So yeah, those are the contents, the rare contents of 69 Throne of Eldraine boosters, and in the case of Questing Beast, the renewal. I hope you liked my opinion about these cards. Please tell me what cards you think I overrated or underrated, and yeah, what you think about the set in general. I think it's a very powerful set. I think it will be a very fun to play set, because just everything seems so powerful and you can do so many things with that. I can see myself building, right off the top of my head, 10 different decks, and this is just gonna be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I will be uploading less videos because I'm working again. I got off long sick leave, but I will try to make it to make more deck tech videos in the future, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you there, or you seeing me there. And until the next time on MTG Deck Tech.